Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Val's Drive-In. President's Day, 28 degrees, 12:26 p.m. And this is a Lewiston, Maine landmark. That would be Val's Drive-In, which you can see right now is closed because it's seasonal. So when this opens, that means spring is here. So anyway, I'm just testing out my stuff on my way to do Woods Walk, Gun Talk, number 11. So this place has been here since 1959. You pull your cars in here, and these waitresses come and take your order. They wear red shirts and white shorts, usually high school to whatever age, and cash only. Keep that in mind. There's an ATM right here. So anyway, it's on Sabbath Street. Today's walk is going to be interesting because we're going somewhere that I've not gone to yet. I've never seen it, and it's in a neighborhood. This neighborhood anyways. It is windy today and it is cold, but I wanted to walk. So I set wind cancellation for automatic. I hope that's doing its job. It's about 25 degrees and windy, so it feels colder. But the sun's out in abundance, and I'm dressed for it, so it should be all right. I got my face covering if my face gets cold like it is now. So we'll get there. Now the place we're going to today is called Garcelon Bog. And yes, what the hell is that, right? Well, we're gonna find out. It's on the map. There's a couple of pictures, so I know there's a trail there. It's about, from what they said, it's about a half-mile long. So we'll go check it out. Later this week we're gonna have 40 degrees Thursday, so I'll probably go for another walk. But I wanted to walk. And it is very windy. Much more windy than I thought it would be. Am I going to turn around and go home? Nah. This will be a good test for the automatic wind noise. We'll see what that does. Good news is, on the way back, the wind will be at my back. So what kind of gun talk do we have this week? Well, there's quite a bit to discuss, actually. we have the Illinois gun ban still going on. I was watching a video with this guy on YouTube that lives in Illinois. I call it Illinois because it's like another dimension. And the Democrats there all suffer from Illinois. So anyway, he was talking about the AR rifle ban and assault weapons ban, which, yes, I know everybody hates calling it assault weapons, assault rifles, but that's the term being used, and I'm going to use it under the pretense with an asterisk and a footnote saying, yes, I know it's a made-up term, but that's what it's being called in the media. And, you know, what do you want me to call it? In other words, so the average person knows what I'm talking about that we're trying to spread a message to. There really isn't one, is there? If you call it a semi-automatic rifle ban, people look at you like, what are you talking about? So the whole point of this is, we own firearms, we already know that. It's the people that don't own them that we're trying to garner support for this. So just call it an assault rifle, an assault weapon. Just eat the damn biscuit, okay? This social media criticizing every little damn thing said all the time is ridiculous. It's like the transgender subject. Transgender is another made-up term, but that's what everybody calls it. So when you're talking about it, you kind of have to mention it. So just go with it, folks. Come on. Anyways, the assault rifle ban in Illinois, this guy had a Mini 14. He was talking about the Mini 30. He just got himself the Mini 14 ranch rifle from Brownells. And you've heard me talk about that a million times. I'm not gonna reiterate it too much. But basically, the AR format sells a lot more than anything else and is making all the money for the gun lobby, which ends up funding the gun lobby through manufacturer profits, and they in turn fund Republicans. So that's all this is for the Democrats. It's not about saving lives, as we just witnessed the former CEO of YouTube who lost his son, 20 years old. He was going to University of Berkeley in California, took some kind of illegal substance in his dorm room, some drugs, because doing drugs is hip with young people again, and they found him dead. So this guy literally wasted his life, and it was fentanyl. And so my point is, the Democrats don't close the border. They don't care about fentanyl. There's no fentanyl lobby funding Republicans, okay? So they could pass legislation to close the border overnight. They would have bipartisan party support. We would all be safe. Democrat cities would have more money because they're not getting filled with immigrants. But that is what the Democratic Party wants, because it is replacement theory. They want Democrat voters. They want to get rid of the Electoral College and just go for the popular vote, which is what they are going to do someday. And why not have a whole bunch of these immigrants who are happy to get fed off the Democratic Party they'll just keep voting Democrat. Nobody's guaranteeing that they are going to be Democrats, and nobody's guaranteeing that they're even going to want to vote. But that is the mindset of the Democrats. That is what they're doing. Because like I said, if they cared about saving lives, they'd stop wasting all this time and energy on firearms, which firearms do not represent the majority of killings in this country. You can go right down the list, from drunk driving to whatever else. So anyway, let's move on to New York State. The state of New York is asking for a stay in the assault weapons ban that they have, because they're trying to delay, which is another tactic the Democrats like to do. Delay, 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 hoping that they end up in a packed court, or they have a chance to pack the courts, or the Republican running for president doesn't win, and then the Democrat president can appoint more life-term judges by morons that think somebody can change themselves into a woman, and if they can honestly believe that a man can become a female, then they're not really going to care about your Second Amendment rights, are they? So that's just a fact. They are putting these idiots, activist morons, in powerful positions, and that's what we're going to see. So there you have that on top of that. So New York is trying to delay, so they can wait for the outcome of an assault rifle case in Connecticut, which isn't even in New York, obviously, but that's what they're doing. And this judge just said, no, I'm not going to issue a stay, because what does Connecticut have to do with New York? So the assault rifle ban is unconstitutional in New York because the Supreme Court has already settled the Keller case. That's already been decided, and New York State violated that by passing new gun laws, and they know they have. So they're just hoping they can delay it until they get control of the courts. That's their tactic. Ooh, we got big wind over this hill, big wind. Them flags are flying today, folks. I do have my face covered, or else I'd probably be getting frostbite today. I think this is the coldest it's been all winter. We've had it pretty easy this year up to this point. But it is going to warm up in the 40s for a few days this week. Cool off again for the weekend, of course, because we go shooting. And then it'll warm up again the week after. So anyway, if you live in Illinois, definitely get a Mini 14. You're going to be limited to 5-round magazines, okay? And it might be difficult to find those magazines, but manufacturers are paying attention to these legislative rules and they are starting to manufacture more compliant magazines. So, and I'm sure the way Illinois is, you'll be paying as much for a 5-round magazine as we pay for a 30-round 5.56 223 magazine here for Ruger Mini 14. So you should have some options coming though, and I do believe it only comes with one magazine from Ruger, which Ruger really should not do that. They should give a couple of magazines. Maybe they do. Sometimes they change that. My Mini 14 was purchased used. Mine was purchased used. Paid about $780. It's been absolutely superbly wonderful. I got 2 30-round magazines and 3 20-round magazines. Great rifle. Mine would be illegal in Illinois for a couple of reasons. Even if I use the polymer or wood stock, that doesn't have the adjustable stock and pistol grip. But I have the flash hider on the end, which I would have to have converted. Plus the barrel is a little over 18 inches long on mine, because it is a former law enforcement model. 5821 series, I believe. Patrol model. Some of them came with a bayonet lug on them, military style, for SWAT or what have you, so they could put attachments on there. So with that, I'm going to cut through this yard because I got to go that way. So with that, my rifle, no matter what, would be illegal in Illinois and New York, but you can get the ranch model, which has no flash hider, no threaded barrel, and a 5-round capacity magazine, and you're good to go. Guess they don't mind that. All right, so now we're on a side street and the wind died down. We're going to be heading to Garcelon Bog at the end of this road. This is the small tail end of Russell Street. If you used to be around here, this was a little different. Now they have it issued out like this as a side street. We have Blaze Barbershop. So this Garcelon Bog is about a little less than half a mile trail. So it's about 1.5 miles to walk here from where I started out, a little over. So I'll get my 5 miles in today regardless. And this is something I wanted to check out since I saw it last summer. I never got down here. So we're going to come down here. And I am using, for GoPro settings, I'm using the horizontal correction, which is on the linear. So this is more like a little bit wider field of view than you would see with a cell phone camera. A cell phone generally uses the narrow, so it crops about 10% of what you get with linear, and linear crops about 10% of what you get with the wide angle lens. So right now it's not very windy, so this is comfortable here. Just on Savannah Street on that hill, it was awful. So anyways, that's what we're looking at for New York State. There's also the Mini 30 option for Illinois and New York. The Democrats have left those off their ban list. And I know what you're thinking, you know, this is obviously politics. Nothing else explains it. There's no reason, if you're banning assault rifles, quote unquote, to allow the sales of Mini 30s and Mini 14s, because the Mini 30 is 7.62 by 39, same caliber as the AK-47, does the same thing as an AK-47, same rate of fire, same capacity, unless you are in Illinois or New York and have to use a 5-round magazine, which is basically a hunting round capacity. So, excuse me. My recommendation would be to buy some magazines. If you want to bring 30 rounds to shoot, and get 6 magazines. Pretty basic math. I think we can do that. And as soon as we get past here, I got other stuff to get into for Maine. So this is a nice little neighborhood. Never been down this way. Never, not once in my whole life. So I have never seen this neighborhood. There's a whole bunch of side streets like that. I've just never seen it because it's a side street. Now, where are we going? That's Bushy Circle. I don't know if that's where I have to go to get on that trail at the end of the road, or if it's down this way. So I may end up having to walk back here. According to Google Maps, it was right at the end of Russell, so I'm gonna stay on here. It wouldn't lie to me, would it? So thankfully, we've not had any snowstorms recently, other than one that missed us last weekend, thankfully. So we're gonna go see the Garcelon bog. Now, bog is supposed to be some low-lying swamp with water, probably pussy willows and things like that. So we'll see what we see this time of year. We'll see if it's used very often when we get there. So the state of Maine, the Democrats are keeping it quiet what kind of gun legislation they're going to try to pass. They're not talking. Which means they're going to do what they didn't do last year. Last year they made a big deal about it for the media to try to get public support, and their own voters didn't go for it. So none of them passed. Not one piece of anti-gun legislation in Maine passed last year. They've already had one tabled this year. So when they're not talking about it, they're working on it behind scenes. They're going to come out with it very quickly, and they're going to try to do a real quick vote on it before people can go protest. That's what they did in other states, and they're going to do that here. Problem is, we don't know what they're going to have on it. And this is important because they are hell-bent on doing it, and they are going to keep trying to pass it until they get something passed or they lose power completely. And right now, the Maine legislature is pretty close. There's enough red people to cause problems for them, so they're gonna have to try to cause some success for themselves by rushing things through. The governor gave her unusual State of the State address, where she blatantly said they're going to focus on climate and they're going to focus on gun control, what she called common sense gun control. And I'm sure they've already had backlash from Democrat voters who own firearms. And Maine is unique like that. We do have Democrats here who like the AR rifles. And when you start talking about taking them, they don't like that. So, a lot of people in the country think Maine is hopelessly blue. It's, you know, another communist Democrat state. And it really isn't. They have power right now, but a few more years of gaining more seats, and that is exactly what's going to happen to Maine. It'll be no different than Massachusetts, Connecticut, or whatever. So you need to vote. You need to tell people to vote. You need to talk to people about guns, educate them. This is a ground campaign that we need to win. So anyway, I'm here at Garcelon Bog. As you can see, kind of nice. Clean up after your dogs. Or if you bring people with you that crap in the woods, you don't want that either. Clean that up. So there's the trail. Here's the boundary. Here's a walking trail over here, way on the other side. We're currently right here. So I'm going to follow this trail, see where it goes in here. This looks like water. So it's probably frozen. There's a walking trail way over here, so I don't even know how to get there unless we go through the neighborhood around this way, back that way. So we'll see if I have to do that. But anyway, this is here because of the Androscoggin Land Trust. There's several places like this. And it's nice. You got woods, trees, we got sunshine, fresh air. It's a little breezy. The trail has ice on it, so we will be careful. The wind did blow some loose snow on it. So I'm going to follow what looks like a trail. So anyway, that's what's going on for Maine. They are going to infiltrate and try to get firearms banned in Maine. Michael Bloomberg, former mayor of New York, when Obama was president, poured millions and millions of dollars into Maine to ban firearms. He is back on it again. He has opened up his pocketbook and he is funding these gun control groups. Now, these gun control groups are radical leftists. There's more than one, there's a bunch of them. They're highly motivated and well financed, and they have been gaining some ground. So this is no longer a game, this is a war. And oh, this is pretty nice here. You get this wood plank walkway. So these people are well financed, as I said. And it's not just Michael Bloomberg, it's other people as well. There is a lot of big money. They want guns banned, because why would they want guns banned? Unarmed people are easy to control. That's why. And well, That was supposed to have some kind of info on it. All it has is mushrooms. Somebody drew some mushrooms on it. We're going into Alice in Wonderland. So we're still on a wood trail. This whole thing is a wood trail. Because I'm assuming this is wet. It's a bog. Can't really tell right now because it's frozen. But I had no idea this was here about 1.5 miles from the house. Kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Get my wintertime exercise. We'll get Woods Walk Gun Talk number 11 in the books. There's another one with a thing missing on here. And we got some graffiti. Of course. 91, 94, 94. And broke the top of it. That's okay. I'll walk through here. So I hope you're enjoying the walk. Let's see what we'll see through here. We'll see what we see. And they still have this trail here on a wood plank. This whole thing is bridged. The entire thing, it looks like. Oh, it's going to stop over here. So this must be low-lying. Kind of swampy, maybe. So I hear something over there that almost sounds like water. It's either water or a highway, but it sounds consistent. It did look like there was water on Google Maps. So now we're off the end of this. It looks like somebody planned on lighting a fire here, or they just came down here and cleaned up the brush that blew off the storm we had. And I see a whole bunch of branches and sticks leaned up against that tree. That looks nefarious. Hopefully that's not somebody that's going to light that on fire. That looks like, this looks like a little tree house in here. So we got a little tree house, tree cabin made here. So I don't know if some kids made that or teenagers. I don't know what they do in it. I don't want to know what they do in it. I can just imagine. We got the top of this tree right here. That snapped off of that one. Obviously, in that storm we had before Christmas. 70-mile-an-hour winds. It was crazy. We've actually had tail ends of hurricanes with less snow than that. Wind, I mean. So, very strange. Good news is, there really isn't anywhere here I can walk and get lost. Because it is in the city. So, no matter what direction you go, you're going to come out somewhere. I hear something down that way. So, we're going to go over here. I want to see what's making that noise. I did bring the backup camera because I'm using Horizon with auto leveling and linear, and I'm also using the stability boost, high boost stabilizer. So I'm going to see what's making that noise over here. It might just be wind blowing through the trees. For all I know. Hopefully I don't run into a pack of wild dogs. I find that to be unlikely here, but I do see dog footprints here, I guess. That's why I'm saying that. Well, we'll go see what we see. So I don't know if there's ticks down here in the summertime. I would think so. Yeah, that's wind. That was wind in the trees. So that means we must be coming to an open area with no trees. Over yonder. There is kind of a ravine, according to what I saw on Google Maps. So this whole area right here is probably a wet bog in the summertime. It just has that kind of look to it. I don't know for sure. So, ooh, pretty windy. Nice shot up through the trees here. Trees are whipping around a little bit. You can see. I can feel the ground is soft here. So this is definitely a marsh, a bog. Summertime, this might be too wet to walk where I'm walking, actually, looking at it. The ground is soft, even though it's cold. So that means the wetness is pretty deep here. And you get all this brown stuff on top, absorbs the sunlight, so it doesn't really freeze. So, I'm gonna go a little way down this way. So we found a tree house, which is nice. There's absolutely no trail here. So, and that right there is ice. So there was water flowing here. So this is a swampy bog. So I'm keeping my periphery so I don't get lost. A lot of people, I don't think, understand how easy it is to get lost in the woods, because it all looks the same. You have no sense of direction other than the sun. And I am following footprints though, so we'll see where the footprints go. All kinds of little critter tracks, all kinds of things, different critters. Go over this log. I don't know where the hell I'm going. This probably really doesn't go anywhere. According to Google Maps, it's just a kind of a ravine. I can see some houses in the distance. So there's a ravine that goes down like this and then up. So I know where I am in relation to Google Maps. So there are footprints here. People have come through here, so let's see where they went. So basically, I don't know what Maine is going to do with their anti-gun legislation, but there will be some. And that's something we're going to have to deal with. They're not going to quit. That much is certain. My theory is they'll just keep going until they finally get their way. And eventually we will have anti-gun legislation in a constitutional carry state, which of course is going to kick off a bunch of lawsuits. And of course, as a Maine citizen, I'm not going to obey with one single damn one that they pass, because I have a constitutional right. That's it. They don't, and my way of thinking is sound, because take the First Amendment with the right to peaceably assemble, and you end up with a whole bunch of radical Democrats that want to ban Republican gatherings because of January 6th. They want to make it illegal for Republicans to gather peaceably without a license. So they want to license your First Amendment right to peaceably assemble. And on the other hand, I don't see Republicans calling for the same thing because of the riots in 2020 from Black Lives Matter, where a lot of the country got burned down, people died, and those all came from peaceful protests. So, or as CNN put it, mostly peaceful protesting while they're standing in front of burning buildings. Probably one of the funniest photographs that isn't funny. All right, so I'm seeing a lot of the same here. I can see a house right there. This is just going to go down hill and up across. So it's just more of the same of this, and I've seen enough. So we're going to head back and make sure, like I always say, I don't lose anything like keys. Woman in my ear says I've walked 2 miles. About 1.5 miles back. So, looks like they did get some tree damage here from that storm that we had. So, that was pretty much over the entire state. So this is interesting. I'm glad I came down here. Didn't know this was here. I'm sure this will look completely different in the summertime. There will be leaves and things here. Everything I'm walking through right here is perfect to get ticks. So probably won't walk through here. I've got a bunch of other places coming up that I want to walk if you enjoy these videos. Coming up when spring gets here, we're going to go along the riverside, the Androscoggin River. There's also a really cool trailhead in Brunswick that I got to go to. That should be really cool. That's near the ocean. It's about 18 to 20 miles to the ocean. We'll see if I'm in the mood to go there. So, oh, there's a little chickadee in the bush. Hi, little chickadee. That's the Maine state bird. Chickadee. We also got the lobster. I'm gonna have to tie my boot shortly. All this uneven walking in snow is loosening up my boot. So I'll find something to perch my foot on. Try to do that without my hands freezing. I am warming up though. I am warming up. So let's walk down this way a little bit and see what's going on over here. Oh, I got a little stump here. Tighten my boot. So you probably have places like this where you live that you didn't know were there. And if you like walking, which some of you that watch this channel do, if you have your own walking channels, which a couple of people that click like on mine do, I enjoy your videos also. So anyway, I'll tie up my other boot. I should be good to go. Thank you for being patient. So, today has been nice. I think now is a good time to check, make sure I'm still recording. So this is a nice little wood spot. I would think in the summertime there's probably more people here. You probably get a lot of kids here. Hopefully not doing things they shouldn't be doing here. Still recording. So, take a couple of selfie pics. All right. I'm going to check out a little bit along the periphery. I don't have too much other stuff to talk about with firearms. You know, Illinois and New York. You guys, you just need to hang on until this gets to the Supreme Court. And the way the Supreme Court runs is they don't go out of their way to hurry up and rush a judgment for every emergency request to look at something, because they realize whatever they do affects everything nationally. And they wait until enough states are having problems. And then they will take it. They will issue a ruling on it. And that will be the law. But that doesn't mean California and New York are going to listen to it, because they've already shown, the Supreme Court ruled on the right for somebody to carry a firearm outside their house in New York. What they did is what California did. You pretty much have a half of a percent chance, no exaggeration, a 0.5% chance of having a carry permit approved in California and New York. So the Supreme Court says people have a right to carry their firearms, so they went and rigged the system like they always do. Rewrote their laws requiring psychiatric evaluations, arms training required, safety courses required, and they make you jump through hoops, and you go through all those hoops, and then you get denied anyway. So that's what's been happening in New York and California both. That's just what they're doing, folks. And until people get some legislative control, people need to understand how valuable, how incredibly valuable it was when Trump was president. Whether you like Trump or not, and whether you like Mitch McConnell or not, which I hate McConnell, I really do. Some turkey tracks and some turkeys going through here. But what happened was, when Obama was president, he missed an opportunity to appoint a lot of leftist judges, because either he was lazy, comfortable, their administration focused on other things, whatever the thing was, they just didn't do it. So Trump and McConnell did. They appointed almost 200, I believe, nationally, lifetime appointments, federal judges. So there's a whole bunch of Trump Republican appointed federal judges, and some of them have been issuing these rulings against Democrats with gun control. So that's how important it is to win these. So at the time, we also had a majority in the Senate, even though the Democrats had the Congress. the lower chamber. The good news is, it's being predicted that the Republicans have one of their best chances in many years to win back the Senate with a pretty healthy majority. And you have a lot of people that are retiring, and those seats that are up for grabs, the Democrats are weak in. So it's, you know, they used the abortion issue the last election. They're going to use that again. To some success, I must admit. Trump got a bunch of crap for saying we need to compromise on the abortion issue. You can't just ban abortion outright, even though it is the right thing to do. It's the Christian thing to do. But the problem with that is, it's not the popular thing to do to actually accomplish anything. And I think it's better to take some baby steps, determine an age that somebody is a baby or isn't a baby, make that the law, make abortion illegal up to this point. I think a compromise would serve a lot of people well. Because right now, Republicans are not going to get the suburban white woman vote. They're not going to get the black woman vote. They're not going to get the woman vote. And you need to have that. You just need to. So, what I would like to see is the suburban white women and black women say, you know what, do we want our schools to encourage my daughter to cut her boobs off and mutilate her body when she's really just a lesbian? So in my opinion, what they're doing is they're ruining gay kids. It's like a conversion therapy. You know, they got on Republicans, Christians, evangelicals for wanting conversion therapy to convert gays to not being gay, which is about as bad as just saying I'm going to ban abortion completely, 100%, no matter what, even if somebody gets raped. I mean, you can't do that. You just can't. So what they're doing, in my opinion, is there are a lot of gay kids at a confusing time in their life, and they're suffering from some kind of mental trauma or something like that. And they're young. They don't have the thought process to process all that. So adults are making decisions for them. And it's a conversion therapy for gays is what it is. And they're ruining gay people. Just let them be gay. I mean, they'll grow out of it. Studies have shown 65% of these people that are confused at a certain age grow out of it through adolescence. You need puberty to do that. So if you block their puberty, then you're blocking them being who they are. And they are ruining children. And I don't care if YouTube censors me for that. They probably will. As we get back on the wood trail here. Well, that's just what they're doing. I don't, you know, that's just the truth. I'm not going to lie about it. If I get censored, then so be it. So, leave the damn kids alone. And you got a lot of these parents who have been bamboozled with propaganda, and they're told, you have to do this or your child's going to die. Your child's going to kill themselves. This will save them. And that's just false. Parents need to educate themselves more from both sides, you know, whatever side, or read some medical journals before this craziness. It's the same science, and the information that's available is not the same as the information they're putting out now. So this is an agenda that they're pushing, and that's what they're doing. So there are legitimate people with gender dysphoria, psychological issue. That's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about this agenda, this social contagion, and it's hurting children. It's hurting families. It's hurting parents. And they don't understand the decision they're making. And I'm not even saying it in a way like, well, I know better than them. That's not what I'm saying. It's just the numbers and the facts are there. That's indisputable. As soon as you turn off your TV, you know, it's one of those things. So if you go against the neo-Marxist cult, I'll call them, you're branded a transphobe, a racist, a bigot. You have to go along with what they say, or else you are this or you are that. And everybody knows that's nonsense. It's just stupidity. And at the end of the day, the truth will rue the day. So anyway, hope you're enjoying this walk and talk number 11. We've got this nice wood trail. I want to see what's over there on the right. On this perimeter, before we leave. Let's see what else is down here. And the reason why I want to check that is because I don't know what this is going to be like when this thaws out in the spring. If it's going to be flooded or water, or it is a bog. And they did put wood walking over everything because it is marshy and wet, which also tells me this is going to be a mosquito pit. Probably going to be a mosquito pit from hell with ticks, things like that. So I might not be coming down here too much this summer. Nothing worse than walking on a trail like this wearing shorts and a t-shirt with your arms exposed. I made that mistake once at Thorn Crag, which has just a little bit of low-lying marshy stuff. And it was a mosquito farm with ticks. So, oh, that is what I saw. That's a little squirrel sitting on a branch. Thought I saw that. If I was out squirrel hunting, I would have just bagged me one. Because I could have had all day. And he was just sitting there looking. So we got a trail that comes down this way, as people have walked here. We'll see where this goes. Not counting on too much. Not bad. Get some damn sunshine in my face. Oh yeah, that's nice. Get some fresh air. Now, where the hell are we going? I don't know where we're going, but we're gonna get there. Huh. All right. So I like that wide angle lens that I use, but I went back to the linear one just because. And you gotta watch out when you're walking in the woods like this right here. This is like at eye level. You walk right into that when you're not looking. In fact, I'll just break that off. You're gonna know you walked into something. I've done it. Oh, look at that. See that right there? That is a little mouse den. It's either a mouse or a rat, and that's kind of a big hole, so it might be a rat, but I see little footprints here. So something lives in that hole. It's either a rat, a chipmunk. There's another hole here. You can see that. Right at the end of my finger, there's a hole in there. And there's a hole here. So it might be the same tunnel group. 2 exits, 2 entrances. Judging by those little footprints, it's a small little critter. So that is one good thing about the snow. You can see what lives here. And I see footprints going this way. Well, let's see what these footprints go to and what people were doing. What were they doing? Pretty secluded, far away from the road. So I don't know what people do out here, but there is enough privacy to do things you shouldn't be doing. Over here. And this trail goes down. You can see footprints. Go down this way. Let's see what's over here. Those footprints are kind of, I don't know, oh, that looks open over there. Let's go see what's down this way. There was some footprints going through here. A little bit more open over there. I do know that this is a pretty large area when you look on Google Maps. I mean, they just have this short little half-mile trail on Google Maps, but it's much bigger. It's much bigger. Much, much bigger. Oh, I see some dog tracks, cat tracks. And I don't see any deer track, but I think it's just a whole bunch of this. And everything I'm walking in right here, I think, in the spring when this thaws out, just judging by these depressions right here, it looks like a little bit of running water. This is probably all marshy bog, wet, mud, you know. So this might be the best time of year to look in this area, just to see what's here. And on every side of this there's neighborhoods, so eventually it looks like it goes about a mile, maybe a mile and a quarter that way, about the same, not as wide width wise. They have the boundary on the Androscoggin Land Trust website. They actually do have a boundary map, and it's a pretty good size. So I'm gonna walk our way back. I think I've seen enough here. We'll head back, and this definitely looks like tick and mosquito. Tick and mosquito-ish. This right here looks like this usually is wet with water. So again, I'm going to check my accoutrements and make sure I have my stuff. This isn't the way I came. I'm going to take the wide route, swing left. And this area here looks kind of open. I don't see any footprints here other than aminals. Aminals. So there are no footprints here from people. And it feels like there's ice underneath my feet. And there is. So I can see these reeds like that right here. Those are probably pussy willow type reeds. So this is, yeah, I can see pussy willow reeds. So yeah, there's a lot of them. So this whole area in the summertime and spring, when this thaws out, this is all going to be a marsh. It'll be unwalkable where I'm walking now. So because it's frozen and it feels like I'm walking on ice, and you can see it as soon as I clear this snow out here. I don't know if you can see that, but that is frozen water, aka ice, underneath the snow. So there's some ice right here too. Clear this off so you can see. We'll get some ice here. So I am walking on a frozen swamp, basically. I am willing to bet the mosquitoes here are absolutely horrendous. Horrendous. Alright, so I'm going to cut back over to the left, then cut right. That should take us back to our entrance. Yep, there's some footprints. Not the ones I made, but they will go where I need to go. So I hope you're enjoying. I do like to stop once in a while and look up. I got a jet plane right there with a trail, which is normal. I see a lot of people online with the chemtrail conspiracy stuff, which the CIA has admitted that they do seed clouds, cloud seeding, trying to alter the weather. That is projects that they've been working on for a long time. And a lot of times when you see those planes with those trails coming out, that's what they're doing. Then there are other people that say they're putting aluminum and other things in the jet fuel, and that is what's causing that. They're poisoning people and contaminating this and that, and aluminum poisoning causes mental illness, which it does. Which is why a lot of people don't recommend cooking in aluminum cookware made in China, because there might be some connection with dementia and things like that. For people that get older and are starting to get mental decline naturally, it exacerbates it. There's been a couple studies done on that. And again, nothing verified. The only things verified, it seems like, is whatever politically is advantageous to far left extremists. So there's that. But anyway, they have been doing cloud seeding, altering the weather. It would not surprise me if this huge record-setting rain season we had in their love for their climate religion, to vindicate that what they're doing is good for the planet by censoring people's talk about it and removing their rights to drive what they want to drive with this climate cult. So Maine right now is in a big transition. We're in a transition period, and we're on the cusp, the verge of turning into those horrible, awful states we read about in the news, that we're very thankful we don't live there. Well, it's coming here. So, and they have not kept it secret. The Democratic Socialists of America want to create a new political party here in Maine. They're well funded, and they want to take over the Democratic Party and make them even more radical and crazy than they are now. These are the ones that found the loophole for the electric vehicles petition that they gathered. They found a loophole in the law which requires just simply getting enough signatures from citizens and implementing policy changes for departments of energy here in Maine without the legislature. So if you have the Department of Energy in Maine run by a bunch of left loonies, they're just going to go ahead and say, well, this is the amount of electric vehicles that are going to be allowed to be sold in Maine. I mean, gasoline powered ones. And you're going to have to start selling more electric vehicles on your lot, without taking into consideration that a car dealership does not want to be mandated on what they can have on their lot, knowing that electric vehicles aren't going to sell, which means they're going to go bankrupt. And good luck buying a used electric vehicle. I'll never do it, because you could end up with $20,000 battery replacement bill or less. The point being, do you really want to pay $5,000 or $6,000 to replace the batteries in your electric vehicle? That's what it costs. So you buy a used vehicle, and then a year after you own it, you need new batteries. Especially in Maine, where you have very cold weather. Your mileage is already restricted with electric vehicles because of the cold. Even they admit that, they know that. So they want you to leave your vehicle plugged in overnight to keep it warm. They don't call it that. They say you need to warm up your vehicle. You need to warm it up overnight. Then you'll be fine. What they're saying is you have to leave it plugged in overnight, running your already expensive light bill up. Because I'm pretty sure they're not going to put a free electrical port in your garage for you to use. And they don't want to say, well, you need to leave your vehicle plugged in overnight charging. Because then people see dollar signs. So they just say you need to warm your car up. It sounds all warm and friendly, right? You'll be fine. All right, we're leaving Garcelon Bog. Hope you enjoyed the walk. Just heard a couple of acorns fall out of a tree behind me. Not acorns, but pine cones, because it's windy. So now we're going to head back to the homestead. I don't know how much battery's left. I do have the backup camera. But anyway, this has been the wonderful Garcelon Bog. I hope you enjoyed the walk with the stabilizer on. I usually don't use the stabilizer when I walk because I was under the impression it was eating up battery. And I have my settings now where I think I can get away with it, so I'm testing that today as well. Because once you get the horizontal correctioning, if I tilt my head to the side, the picture stays level with the horizon. So you don't get a lot of this tilting when I'm walking. So I was using that without the stabilizer boost. So once in a while you'd still see a little up and down, not a big deal. So right now I get the full regalia on. I have the horizon leveling, and I have the stabilizing where it should be smooth, like I'm walking with a gimbal. Now they do sell a gimbal for the GoPro. That's about $150, $160. And you could actually run down the road while jogging, and you can't even tell somebody's running. It stays nice and smooth. But I don't really need that. It's not necessary. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm not kayaking over waterfalls. I'm not jogging. I'm not taking jumps with a dirt bike. So I'm just walking. This is fine. And again, I have the auto wind canceling on. So I don't know if it's going to give me robot voice again. I can't remember if I have it on full auto or medium. Either or, we'll see when I play this back. So I'm going to cut across here. I do have my face covered. It is cold today. Got just my eyeballs sticking out. It wasn't too bad in the woods. The trees cut a lot of the wind down. So I don't know when this is going to stop recording because of cold eating up the battery. I brought the backup camera, but I don't think I'm going to use it because I got most of the woods walk done. So if this turns off, I will just say thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe. This was Woods Walk, Gun Talk number 11. I hope it was interesting. Had never gone to that place before. Garcelon Bog in Lewiston, Maine. The other thing I'll talk about real quick, having to do with firearms. It was really nice to see Paul Harrell get to over 1 million subscribers, given his health condition problems with the awful disease, pancreatic cancer. That's one of the toughest ones you can get. So the prognosis, to be realistic, is not good. People have beaten it though, on rare occasions. Maybe Paul will pull out a miracle. But Paul Harrell is, it was nice to see. It was nice to see the other gun channels pull off some of their subscribers. So Paul Harrell, who should have had 1 million subscribers a very long time ago, is probably one of the best channels on YouTube, if not the best. And a lot of people opt for crazy antics, comedy. If you like a gun channel with just intelligent gun talk from somebody that knows what they're talking about and they're not acting like a clown or a buffoon, and Paul Harrell's channel is full of videos. You will learn so much. We all have learned so much from Paul Harrell. I learned things like how to decock a 1911 with one hand. Sounds like a small thing until you try it. So anyway, there's a lot of cool things, and you know, safety first, practice, practice, practice. And if Paul Harrell should leave us, and you know, I'm gonna say if, I've seen too many tribute videos online already. You know, the guy's not dead. Give him a chance. So if he should leave us, I will do a personal kind of tribute video to him, but not until. And I hope I never have to make that video. So that's my view on that. So anyway, if you are not a subscriber to Paul Harrell's channel, I highly recommend that you should do that. You won't regret it. So I'm going to go up this way because I can get right onto Sabata Street this way. And then I'm just going to carry this on home. Like I said, if it runs out of juice, it runs out of juice. I'm at over 3 miles right now. I want to get my 5 miles in, a couple more. I should be able to do at least 1.5. So I might take a longer route home just to get that in. So, got the credit union here, one of them. Old Glory is flying over there in the background. And the real state of Maine flag. See that right there? That blue flag? That has been the state of Maine flag for a gazillion years. And some liberal Democrats with too much time on their hand wanted the old 1700s one when we used to belong to Massachusetts. They wanted that flag back, which is a white flag with a stupid looking, cartoon looking pine tree on it. So that's what they did. So that's the old flag. I have one of those flags. I gotta find a place to cross here at some point. If I can get a lull in the action. I don't think I'm gonna get this time of day. I'll wait till I can get over this hill so I can see the oncoming traffic. I used to do a lot of that, mountain biking. I did a lot of that too, use my gears to go up hills. So the other thing I'll talk about real quick, not having anything to do with anything, just popped in my head, is if you have an old flat screen TV that's no longer running, the good news is if you look up your model online, there are several websites that sell parts to repair them. Very easy to do. They're not like a computer where you have a major wafer circuit board in there, motherboard. They have modules, usually about 4 to 5 inches by 5 inches. They screw inside your TV, and you have basic computer circuit board connectors, real easy to do. So you have your center that controls Wi-Fi and your smart TV stuff. Then you have another module, which is your video processing module. And then you have another one, there's usually 3. One is your power supply. So for example, I had a TV recently, and this is the other option you can do. You can just replace your TV that malfunctioned. That works too. Then you get the more modern smart TV apps, because a lot of times they will stop updating and you're unable to update them. So then you go to YouTube and you can't watch anything on YouTube because you don't have the newest codec, and it won't update either. That's all through the manufacturer's portal, and if they no longer support it without a new firmware upgrade, and they don't offer a new firmware upgrade, then you're pretty much screwed whether your TV works or not. You can just use it as a computer monitor if you want to. But if your power comes on and you can't get a picture, but it's backlit and you can tell it's backlit, it's just a blank black screen with nothing coming on it, then your power supply is good. It's another module. And chances are it's not the Wi-Fi one. It is the actual processor for the TV. So if you buy that module, you can get them too. It's not one of those things where, oh, you know, it might be $150, $200. No. Most of the time these modules are $40 to $60 each. They're not expensive. If you're comfortable enough of unscrewing your TV and pulling it apart, which a lot of that isn't rocket science either. It's not like Apple, where Apple products, you need a special tool to disassemble it, and special adhesives once you do disassemble it to put it back together, and which are usually peel and stick for whatever model Apple product you have. TVs aren't that complex. So now if your video screen isn't backlit and it's not lighting up, and your power button is not coming on, it's your power module. Now if your power indicator comes on and your screen's not backlighting, then the light or sections that go to your screen that backlight it aren't working, and those are usually controlled from a module. So just about all of these problems can be solved by replacing modules. Now if you don't want to go buy a new $400 or $500 TV, you could buy $200 in parts to replace the ones that are in it, and it's pretty much a guarantee it's going to work. But don't get angry with me if it doesn't. I'm just saying, I gotta wait for an opportunity to cross here. I'm gonna time it with the light. There we go. There we go. See? No need to push a button, no need for permission to cross. Just a little patience, realizing where the red lights are. And there we have it. So anyways, you can fix your own TV these days. And you can even get fancy and use a circuit tester to find out exactly what circuit board is wrong. But chances are, if the power light doesn't come on, it's a power module. So anyway, replaced mine with another TV. That works too. This parking lot over here at Hannaford's is always full. Always. Always, always, always. And they stock up well with stuff you need, I can tell you that much. They do shop here sometimes too. Sometimes I don't want to cross the river into Auburn. Now I probably don't have enough time to talk about it because of the battery. I'm going to try to anyway. There's this website called Black Health, blkhlth.org or com, forget which one, probably org. There was a display in Walmart for Advil, specifically for black people. I'm like, okay. And the whole thing was about equity and pain management. And they're trying to say that black people are affected differently with pain, and Advil thinks of them. That was the gist I got from it. Now this is another example of a corporation using diversity, equity, and inclusion in their advertising. So they're basically using racism to sell painkillers. Now any damn fool knows Advil is going to work on black people, Chinese, Asian, Hispanic. It's science. The biology is not that much different. Now when you start getting into colon cancer and heart attacks, there is a difference between African Americans, which I am not going to call them African Americans because some of them are from Jamaica, Dominican Republic. They're not African. So that's a whole other debate on its own. And getting into an area I don't usually talk too much about on here with race, but these corporations are out of hand with the transgender ideology and racism and equity and diversity. And why can't people just be people? Why do we have to be split and divided? It's awful what the corporations are doing. So my advice would be, don't buy any Advil. So there. But anyway, they had that display right on the shelf in Walmart with a sign. No joke. Have no idea why it was there. But they had it there. And if you've been into Walmart lately, there's a lot more people of color shopping these days than there used to be because of the immigration. So they're trying to capitalize with capitalism and sell stuff, which is fine, but it's just dishonest advertising. That's part of the problem. And realistically, they'd probably get a break from the White House administration and Biden's executive order on diversity, equity, and inclusion. So they get a tax break because they were for the cause. Would not surprise me if you have African American meals at McDonald's, or if you can get a Whopper just for black people. I don't know why they have to do that, but I'd be really surprised if that's, you know, that's not an exaggeration on my part. What I just said, did that sound like something unbelievable that can't happen today? No, of course it can. We're seeing these people being crazy. Why can't you just love black people? Why does there have to be baggage on it? You know, why do you have to divide everybody? That's racism. So anyway, this battery is going to die out soon. I'm at the marker that I know it will. So, plus it is cold today, and the battery does not last as long when it's cold. I just checked. I'm coming up on 4 miles, and I want to get my 5 miles in. I don't have to get 5 miles, but I feel like I didn't do what I should if I don't. Let's put it that way. So I'll probably walk on up ahead until I pass 5 miles. By the time I get where I'm going, I'm going to be at about 4.6. So maybe I'll go a little bit yonder till I get 5 miles. But you won't see that because I'll stop recording by then, probably because the battery will die out. Or I will stop it, because I don't want to reveal where I live. Or where we live. Or any of that. I do know that today is a bad day to judge by it, but spring is on its way. That sun is up higher in the sky.